Hi, it's AdoLisa, your clarity coach here. Welcome to Module 3 of your Masterclass. And this is the module where we're going to talk about your identity, your DNA, and your personality. Now, we've covered a lot of ground so far. You're making fantastic progress. And if you've done your homework for Modules 1 and 2, I know that you are starting to see things about your life that you have not seen before. I am so very, very proud of you. So, over the next 3 modules, we're going to focus on you. Who are you really? Now, when you understand yourself on a deep level, it changes your perspective on so many things. Now, don't tune out on me if you think you already know yourself really, really well. And please don't quit if you're afraid of what you might find. This is all for your good. And I know you'll discover things that you never knew before. And I know you'll discover things that will totally blow your mind and bless your life. So let's dive in. We're going to start off with exploring the concept of identity. Webster Dictionary defines identity as the distinguishing character or personality of an individual. Google describes it as the fact of being who a person is. In other words, an individual's identity is made up of the characteristics and attributes that distinguishes them from another person. Basically, it's the things that make you you. So, ask yourself this question. Who am I? Now, write it down. Seriously, ask yourself, who am I? And I want you to write down everything that you can think of that describes and defines who you are. So what I'd like for you to do is to pause this video right now and write down everything. Come on, do it now. Don't worry, I'll still be here when you get back. It's really important. You cannot move forward. You're not supposed to move forward from this point right now until you have completed this exercise. So pause this video now, write it down. Who am I? Everything you can think of. Pause now. Welcome back. So did you do it? Did you write everything down? Make sure you make a complete list. Really, everything that you can think of that will describe and define you to the very T is very important. It's really, really important that you're extremely thorough in this, okay? So if you were just cursory and not thorough, please pause the video again and be really thorough and write everything you can think of down. This will really, really help you and set the pace for the rest of this module. So pause now, be really thorough, write it down. Are you done now? Good for you. Okay, so what kind of things did you write down? What were the types of characteristics did you write? Did you include anything about your ethnicity? That's your cultural background. Did you include your race, your religion, anything about your occupation, your hobbies, your relationship status? How about stuff about your family tree or even your gender? What are the types of things you wrote down? Hmm? So listen, the types of things you wrote down actually tells us what you believe make up your identity. So this is what I'd like for you to take a quick minute and jot down the types of characteristics you wrote down. So on your list of things that you wrote down, right beside it, write down the type of characteristic it is. Is it your ethnicity? Is it your race? Is it your gender? You know, anything. So pause the video right now, go through that. Write down the types of characteristics you wrote down. So I'll be here when you get back. Pause, pause, pause. Okay, great. Great job. Now, your understanding of your identity governs how you interact with the world around you. I'll say it again. Your understanding, what you understand concerning your identity governs how you interact with the world around you. So, for example, imagine that you're in the doctor's office and the nurse comes out and says, Tamara Jones, Tamara Jones, Tamara Jones. What would you do? Would you continue scrolling down on your cell phone? Would you continue reading the magazine? Would you look around? What would be your reaction? Well, let's say no one responds to the nurse, and the nurse looks around the crowded office and calls for Tamara Jones once again. Miss Jones, are you still here? What would you do? Well, what if Tamara Jones was your name? What if your parents named you Tamara Jones? Would your reaction change? Well, I hope so, because the nurse has identified you and your name is part of your identity. So if your name is Tamara Jones, rather than scrolling down on your cell phone or continuing to read the magazine or talking on the phone, most likely you would get up and say, Tamara Jones here, and get up out of your seat and follow the nurse to the back of the office, right? So again, your understanding of your identity, your name is part of your identity. Your understanding of your identity, if you identify your name as part of your identity and someone calls your name, that affects the way you interact with the world around you. So, what you wrote down as attributes of your identity actually reveals your values. It reveals your belief system and what you consider to be important in life. It reveals how you see yourself in relation to the world around you. Here, I prove it. Okay. I'm a black woman of Nigerian descent. And if you're my minority race, that may be an important part of your identity. And if you're an immigrant, your national origin may be a big part of your identity. But when I travel back to Nigeria, my race and my nation of origin ceases to be a preeminent part of my identity because everyone in Nigeria is black and of Nigerian descent. So these characteristics no longer have a huge effect on the way I interact with the world. So that's just an example, but let's take a deeper dive. Now, this topic of identity can take up a whole masterclass all by itself, but I'll try to cover as much as I can in a few short minutes, okay? So, based on my many, many years of observation and study, I've concluded that our identities are made up of three domains. Number one, personal facts. Number two, soul and beliefs. And number three, the creator's truth about the individual. I'll repeat that. From my study and my observations, again, like I mentioned in previous master classes, what I'm doing in these modules is putting language to principles and things that already exist. So based on my observations and study, okay, our identities include three domains: personal facts, soul, number one, number two, soul and beliefs, and number three, the creator's truth about the individual. So let's go through each one. The first one, personhood and facts. This is what I call the personal facts. So personhood and facts. These are the part of your identity that covers everything dealing with your personhood. These are objective, verifiable information about you, like your physical characteristics, like your name, your age, your height. It includes things like your ancestry, ethnicity, your personality, your talents, giftings, and any other fact that you can think of about yourself. Now, keep in mind, these are facts that someone else can verify and not just things you believe or came up with on your own. Okay? That's what this particular domain is all about. These are about verifiable facts. Okay? So this is probably the part of your identity most people are familiar with. I would bet that most of your answers to the who am I question were actually personal facts. Okay? So that's the first domain. Domain number 2. Let's go to the next domain. Beliefs. This is a huge part of who you are. Your beliefs are the state or habit of both your conscious and unconscious mind. Okay? Your mind is the part of your soul responsible for thought. Here's how it works. Your senses receive information and your conscious mind processes the information. Like right now, you're listening to me and you're processing the things I'm saying. That's your conscious mind working. If you're open to accepting the information or if the information is repeated over and over many times, the thoughts are retained and stored in your subconscious mind where they become beliefs. And guess what? Once a thought becomes a belief, it becomes a lens that you unknowingly use to filter all other information through. It's your subconscious mind that stores all your beliefs. This is the thinking faculty. I'm talking about your subconscious mind. It's the thinking faculty of man where all decisions are really made, where our consciousness resides, our sense of morality, the building blocks of our character are all housed in the subconscious mind. This is the part of man that the Bible calls the quote unquote heart. So, your beliefs are your very nature and determine your values. In everything you do, you're manifesting your beliefs. Your beliefs dictate your actions, and your actions determine your character. In Proverbs chapter 23, verse 7, the Bible teaches us that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. Your beliefs are you, and you are your beliefs. If deep in your subconscious mind you believe that all people are made in the image of God and deserving of love and respect, that belief will show up in how you treat people. But if you believe that a particular race or ethnic group is subpar and beneath you, that belief will show up in your actions as well. And guess what? Your beliefs also dictate the way you see yourself. They're lenses. They're lenses. Everything, all information is filtered through those lenses. They're lenses through which you see your personal facts and can really hold you back if not addressed. I'll repeat that. Remember, your beliefs are on the subconscious level and they're lenses. So the first domain of your identity are your personhood and facts. They're objective facts. And your beliefs will be the lenses in your subconscious that you will even filter the facts, your personhood facts through. So, you guess what? I don't know what you wrote down in our exercise a couple moments ago or what you believe is part of your identity. But what I'd like for you to do, for the sake of you getting the clarity you need, okay? I'd like for you to look at the concept of identity from a holistic truth perspective. What that means is focusing more on those characteristics that are unchanging and based on truth, not just facts. For example,